Hey everybody, it's Rick Trummer from Rick Trummer Consulting and Training, and welcome to another video from us here. Hey, I'm having a great time discussing the NIK filters that are free on Google since Google purchased. So yesterday we kind of started the conversation. I showed you a little bit how to go on and get these fabulous filters which will download right into the areas you want. So if you're using them from Lightroom, it'll go straight into Lightroom. If you're using it for Photoshop, it'll go straight into there, and they'll all be available for when you're ready to go. Not everybody does all of their editing in Lightroom or whatever, and sometimes it's better to actually use some of these filters from Photoshop as opposed to Lightroom. But remember, you can use them in both. So whatever your preferred method is, go for it. Now remember, every time that you do take an image inside one of those, what it's going to do is it's literally going to take you into its own panel. So no matter what program you're using, you're going to be using your own panel or their own panel for when you're doing that. So beyond that point, have a great time with all of this, and we're going to have a great time going through all of this stuff. Yesterday we kind of left off at using the Silver Efex Pro, and I promised you that I would come back to this, and actually all week we're going to be highlighting the Silver Efex Pro and showing some of the really cool features on it. Yesterday we got into some pretty cool features on it, and I told you, listen, we're going to go back there and we're going to get some more stuff done. So I'm taking this back into the Silver Efex control panel, and what we're going to do is I'm going to hit the plus button here, and again, that'll expand the screen so that we've got it here and we can take a look at it a little bit larger. One of the things that you might want to do is down in the lower right corner down here, you'll be able to see that there's a loop area down there. Just click on that. It's always nice to have that loop showing, so that way you'll be able to go in and take a look at some of the fine points in here. So you can move this around so you can see kind of the structure. This is going to be kind of important, especially when we're going through the structure filter, which is kind of their version. That structure version is kind of their version of bringing out some detail and some sharpness, kind of like the clarity filter. And I think I mentioned that a little bit yesterday. There's so many great things going on with this, with Silver Efex and all of these other programs, that we are just going to have to take multiple videos to go through everything, because there's just so many things going on. So I wanted to make sure that I give you as many of the small little tips and tricks as you want. And yesterday, if you remember, I took you back through and I showed you how to add a favorite by just clicking on a star here. You can add those to the favorites, and of course it'll add up to the screen that's right up here. So you'll be able to add to the favorites. So if you click on an area here, it'll add to your favorites area there. So what I would do is find your favorite 10 or so of those filters that you really like, maybe a dozen, and have those favorites that you always are go to. Instead of going through all of them, all 38, have the ones that you like structured, and then go in and do your changes. So yesterday we kind of left off and we talked a little bit about the brightness and how to go through all of these different screens over here. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be kind of showing you some of the different areas that are over here. Now, when you uncollapse this, there's other items over here. So when you get to the point where you're using those, it's a really great place, and you're going to find that you're going to like this dynamic brightness, I believe, the best. So we're going to kind of take you through that today, and then we're going to show you some selective adjustments layer, which is their version of kind of that brush that they have, that you would use, an adjustment brush that you would use inside any of the raw processing programs. So we're going to kind of go through those today, and then we're going to come back tomorrow and show you a couple other things to finish up our series on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of click in kind of to where I'd like to see my black and white start. Everybody's going to be different about where they want to see their black and white. I'm actually going to put it at high structure there. And again, you'll be able to come over to any of these areas and be able to see down in the lower right corner, as you can see right now, you can see that I'm actually getting an enlargement up there. And like with anything, using the structure and going down through here, you can actually go through these different histogram items that are down here, and you can see see where the image is by just clicking in this area. So you can see where your 0 points are. For those of you who know the zone system, 0, of course, is black. And so you'll be able to kind of show all of these different points and where exactly this is going. And of course, all the way to 10, where you've got zone 10, all the way here. Of course, the original zone system was only on 9 areas. So, but they've expanded that when they went to digital. So again, 0 is your dark ones. The highest number of 10 down here is going to your high, your brightest areas. So what can we do with this image after we've clicked into an area? Well, one of the really cool features here is this control point feature that's over here on this part of the screen. If you click on this button, what it'll do is you'll be able to come over to an area, and I'm just going to click on it. And if you click and hold, that'll move the brush to wherever you want to go. And you can size the brush up and down by just clicking on the brush control and putting it exactly where you want it. And again, you can move it wherever you want. And then you've got a couple different controls that you're seeing right here. The first one is your brightness control. So you can control the brightness of just that area that's inside there. Kind of cool. The next one down is your contrast area, that you can control the contrast. And then the last one is, this is your structure, where you can go in and kind of work the structure again. Again, this is kind of the clarity filter of, NIK filters. But one last thing is, down below here, there's a little down arrow. And if you click the little down arrow, let's show you that real quick by zooming in. If you click on the down arrow, what it'll do is it'll bring down all of the other items that are in here. So you've got the amplify whites, you've got the amplify blacks, you've got your fine structure, and then the last one down is selective colorization. This is something that I would probably stay away from if I were you, but you can change after you take into black and white. If you wanted to put a little bit of color in here, you could certainly do that by going through that brush. So it's kind of a nice area just to be doing this. So if you just click on that area, you got your selective, kind of this selective point that you're going to. And the cool thing is you can select multiple selective points. So you could just keep on clicking on another point here and, making this another area and then moving your brush or whatever. But if you don't want to go through all of that trouble, there's a really easy way of doing this. All you need to do is to Option or Alt click on the control point area, and what it'll do is it'll add another area over here. So if you click on that, it'll just add that exact same area that's right over here, and then that way you don't have to keep repeating yourself if you like those particular items that you have. So again, that's an Alt or Option, depending if you're Mac or PC, to go ahead and click that area. And again, what it's going to be waiting for is you to click on. So you can see I've got kind of the small little finder there waiting for me to click on a spot. As soon as I do that, now I can adjust the brush to the area that I have, and now I've got the same exact adjustment that I've had going across all of the other areas. It makes it really, really nice, and it's a quick time saver so that you can speed along and do a lot of these areas individually and right away. So once you get to your area, you just would click on OK, or once you're finished, and it will take you through and process the rest of the items out. So tomorrow we're going to be finishing up with everything that we've got on the Silver Efex Pro. We're going to go through the last amount of tools that are going inside there. So I'm hoping that you're enjoying this series using the NIK filters. And until tomorrow, I'm Rick Trummer from Rick Trummer Consulting and Training, and I'll see you on the tube.